But I'm going to need everybody to get a copy of 1984 by George Orwell. Read it immediately. Doesn't matter if you read it back in high school, because what is happening now, that man foretold. I remember having to read that book in either junior high or high school. I think it was junior high. And it was one of the most terrifying books I've ever read, because I remembered I kept thinking, this could actually happen. As I got older, I would start seeing signs of us moving toward this Orwellian dystopian state of being here in America. And I say that because not only is Big Brother watching, Big Brother has always been watching, but now they are going full force. So you need to write down your stories. Don't just trust the videos that you have up here, and just know that if you're talking about something real, your account is going to get reported. Like, it's fascinating seeing the way that the narrative is trying to be rewritten. As disappointed as I am, I'm not surprised. Like, these people are doing what they said they were going to do. And all of y'all who voted for that person, I hope you enjoy your government shutdown, because y'all asked for this. Y'all kept saying, oh, he's a businessman and he says what he means, and that's why he talks the way he does. I like that he doesn't have to answer to anybody. Oh, do you? Do you? I hope you remember that when your taxes are hit so hard with an increase, because y'all thought that y'all were part of the protected class. Like, y'all seem to forget that he's doing these for the other billionaires. He's not doing this for you. And it's interesting to see some of y'all wake up to the fact that it was never about conservatives versus liberal. It was about rich versus poor. And for some of y'all who thought that making 250,000, 300,000 in your area, maybe that makes you a baller, but it does not give you the tax cuts that that man was offering. So now y'all are seeing what we were trying to tell you. Like, my account got a strike on it for a video I posted yesterday that was accused of misinformation. Someone even reported my video that I did for Veterans Day about my dad, who is an Army veteran. And I was talking about how America treated Black veterans differently than white veterans because of my dad's lived experiences. And somebody flagged it for nudity. So, of course, I had to appeal that. But the process is so, you really don't have any control over it other than appealing it. But I knew exactly why. As soon as I got the notification and saw that it had been flagged as not meeting community guidelines, I was like, oh, of course, they didn't like the actual story coming out of how Black veterans were treated. I saw this video of this creator talking about how the FBI contacted him for this funny video he made. I mean, it wasn't that funny to me, but it was obviously a spoof regarding the latest Pew Pew situation. And he said the FBI like interrogated him for like 3 hours for a skit that was clearly a skit. Big Brother is watching. Big Brother has always been watching, but now Big Brother has minions. And now a lot of owners of these tech companies are terrified of upsetting the orange man. So they're just flagging shit. They're flagging shit that he might not like. And the fact that I keep thinking about thought crime, which was a term from the novel 1984, the fact that it's happening now on these platforms, I've always known that when I post a video about something political, I'm always prepared that someone's not going to like it, that someone's going to flag it. But the rate at which it's been happening, and now that they're trying to ban TikTok, and you've got people saying, oh, Trump might say that, y'all know that if that man is involved with saving TikTok, it's going to turn into what used to be Twitter is now X. And I hope that as y'all who voted for that person start to understand that no, he didn't mean you when he was talking about all of the people that were going to benefit by him being in office. I hope you enjoy the next 4 years. I also think we need to remember that the person who's in that man's ear is a South African billionaire, a white South African billionaire. And if y'all would have done any thinking, you would have actually paused before you supported that man and thought, a white wealthy man from South Africa, how did he get his money? Do we want that influence in America? And y'all got excited because you were like, ooh, this rich man is saying a lot of things that I like. He wasn't talking about you. See, that's how they played y'all, because y'all thought you were included. And now you're in the fuck around and find out phase. And it's actually more impactful than even I could have imagined. I never imagined a day that the incoming president would be talking about abolishing the Department of Education. Like, to me, that makes no sense. But actually, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, well, listen to what Elon Musk's mom just said. They need workers. And the way they wrapped it up in a bow to fool a lot of y'all is by talking about, oh, these woke values are getting into our schools. We need to start homeschooling, keep them away from these scary Black people and these scary ideas about freedom. Y'all were so tapped into your racism that you didn't even realize that they were snatching away your freedom too. You didn't realize you stepped into the trap that they set for you. They tapped into your racism so that when they were taking away the things that you actually need and you depend on, that you wouldn't notice it. No, they don't want your kids educated. They want workers. They want workers for their factories. And this is not a dig on factory workers because my grandpa was a factory worker. My dad worked in a factory for a time. This is not a dig on them. They're just saying, let's not even pretend, because now they're starting to do it based on your family's finances. My gut is saying they're going to this mindset that is similar to the British monarchy, where you feel like, oh, these people were just appointed by God to have all the money. Because God gave them all this money, they're the only ones that are fit to rule. And y'all fell for it. Y'all think because these rich people have successful companies that they are the ones that will know how to run this country the best. But y'all have never worked for these people. I bet if you talk to their employees, they would have a different story. If y'all would have done some research to see, okay, what are their products like? Are their employees happy? Do they have a good work-life balance? No, all y'all saw were dollar signs in somebody else's bank account. And because you hate where you are financially, because you feel shame about it, now you're looking to these rich folks to heal your wounds. And again, it's your daddy issues. It's your daddy issues. Y'all looked to them to heal that wound because your dads treated you similarly. And just like your dads, they are disappointing you. And now we have to suffer because some of y'all wouldn't go to therapy. So, and yes, you did just hear a rooster crow. I love my neighborhood. Everything they say they're going to do, I believe they're going to do, but only the worst things. I don't believe anything positive is going to come out of this for us, for the working class, for the upper middle class. I mean, unless you're making over $300,000 a year, you're going to be fucked. All of these calls for us to get together and fight the policies that they said they were going to push because y'all didn't think they applied to you. I'm fighting for what I need, but I'm not fighting for anybody else anymore. Remember, we're on strike, y'all. I'm going to fight against the things that concern me the most about this administration, but I'm not going to fight about the things that that man said he was going to dismantle and get rid of. But now y'all are realizing it affects you, and now y'all are trying to get us on board to save you. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I'm in my Santa onesie, like I'm on strike. I'm gonna be in the sunshine sipping my tea. The fact that he's doing them and some of y'all are running scared now because you realize, oh, he meant you too. Consequences. The fact that they're rolling back all DEI initiatives. Conservative women, I hope you enjoy that because that means some of your rights were just taken away as well. But yeah, and all of those, the body diversity sections where we finally had like cute plus size clothes for my plus size sisters. A lot of the stores that were championing diversity of body types, that's gone. That's gone. They're rolling back all of that. So I hope y'all are happy because this is what they said they were going to do. I'm really glad, though, that y'all are starting to realize it's always been about money. It's never even really been about race. Because when you think about it, they wanted Black people to have separate towns. They did not want us living among them or going to school with them. So we built thriving towns, and jealous poor white people burned those towns to the ground. It was always about money. It was always about money. They've just kept us distracted by race and gender and sexual identity. And we were so distracted by those things, which are very real things, that a lot of people did not realize they were slowly siphoning away our rights. Actually, again, evil genius. And I keep saying that because it is evil genius. What better way to keep people from ascending past a certain level than by starting to turn them against each other based on skin color? So then you plant that seed that, no, they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that wealth. I'm this color. I should have the wealth. So then you get these angry racists fighting against Black and brown people. And it keeps us distracted from the fact that the billionaires have been stealing our money for decades, stealing it through keeping the minimum wage at a standstill for years by not offering proper compensation for their jobs that they're offering. The fact that most people have to have more than one job to pay their bills is disgusting and ridiculous, and it wasn't that way when I was growing up. I know people that worked at the post office and had a beautiful townhouse that they owned. You can't do that now. We can't. But they did it so slowly that we didn't realize it was happening on such a large scale. And now, here we are. Here we are. And they like us ignorant. The fact that so many people thought that the high grocery prices were because of President Biden, They like us being ignorant so we don't know how government actually works. They like us not realizing that a lot of this shit is happening because Republicans gained control of the House and the Senate. And again, evil genius, because if we actually remembered our high school and junior high government classes or US history classes, we would have remembered that part of the checks and the balances is so that one party doesn't have like all power. So because we didn't pay attention as a culture, as Americans, and we did not make sure to vote, to pay as much attention to our congressional and our Senate races, we literally gave them all the keys to the kingdom. So now they're doing what dictators do. But here we are, voted for this. So yes, I'm still going to fight for the things that I believe in, but I'm not coming to the rescue for any causes that we warned y'all about. Like, I'm not going to help with immigration stuff. I mean, shoot, I'm petty enough that before I fight for somebody's cause, I'm going to be like, who did you vote for? Because if you voted for that man, no, we tried to tell y'all. And I really think this is a good time for you all to tap into why your unconscious bias, or maybe even your conscious bias, how your racism and your desire to be seen as better than by the ruling class, how that got us into this mess. I want to congratulate you all on basically contributing to the downfall of society. I want you to say goodbye to the superpower that we used to be. And I want you, especially if you're parents and you're conservative, I want you to remember that if you are working class, you have voted for a person who thinks that your child does not deserve to get to the level they're at. You voted for somebody who decided that your kids don't need education because they're poor. They just need to be workers. And again, this is not a slight on blue collar work at all, but they had the choice. They still got an education and they made the choice to work at a certain point. And that's okay. But to be in a space where in the year 2024, they're talking about abolishing the Department of Education, their kids aren't going to be affected. Like the wealthy are going to be fine. Like that's why they weren't so stressed about taking away abortion or healthcare because they're still going to have their private doctors perform these procedures for their mistresses. We all know this. We all know this.